Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott sidelined during training camp with injury. Dak Prescott was absent from the Dallas Cowboys training camp practice on August 9, 2024, as the quarterback deals with ankle soreness. Both the team and Prescott are terming his absence as precautionary, but it is still less than ideal for a franchise to see their quarterback dealing with soreness, even if it is minor. Fans may remember Prescott was spotted wearing a walking boot during a vacation this offseason. The viral photo created some concern among Cowboys fans, but Prescott also termed the boot as precautionary. According to Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Clarence Hill Jr., the quarterback used this same word to describe his absence from training camp practice. Dak Prescott confirmed to me it was precautionary, Hill said in an August 9 message on X. He is not wearing a boot. Dak Prescott's absence is not related to his contract negotiations with the Cowboys. The latest news on Prescott is not worthy of Cowboys fans hitting the panic button. Yet, Prescott's ankle is worth monitoring during the season, given the quarterback has admitted to having soreness both during the offseason and training camp. NFL Network's Jane Slater reported that Prescott's absence is not related to his ongoing contract negotiations with the Dallas front office. "A source tells me there is nothing to Dak Prescott's absence at practice," Slater said on X. "It's not related to a contract or any type of holdout." Why? Still unclear, but also told it's not injury-related and nothing serious at all. Dak Prescott was dealing with a very minor foot sprain this offseason. It is worth noting that Prescott is coming off an August 8 joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams where the star participated. Both teams scrimmaged during this practice. Back in the offseason, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport described Prescott's injury as a very minor foot sprain. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott, spotted here in a protective walking boot, is dealing with a very minor foot sprain and has been for a few days, Rappaport noted in a July 4 message on X. It's not considered to be anything that should affect his preparation for 2024. Cowboys warned on hated rivals Dak Prescott pursuit. It would be bad enough, of course, if the Cowboys are forced to move forward without giving quarterback Dak Prescott a new contract entering the 2024 season. The team would have to play out this year with Super Bowl aspirations on one hand, and the void of unfathomable uncertainty on the other. Not an easy way to approach an NFL year. It would all set up a possibility that Prescott would land elsewhere next winter. At the contract site Spotrac, the subject of Prescott's future was taken up by the experts there on the Spotrac podcast, and one of the most probable resolutions of a Prescott free agency was raised, one that would be especially unpalatable for even the biggest of Dak detractors, Prescott landing with the NFC East rival Giants. In rattling off a list, a lengthy one at that, of potential suitors for Prescott, NFL contract expert Mike Giannitti of Spotrac highlighted the urgency the Giants could feel to get Prescott to New York, especially if the team cuts ties with Daniel Jones as expected. For sure the Giants need him today, let alone March 12, Giannitti said. Cowboys lacking leverage in contract talks. The issue the Cowboys have in handling Prescott's situation is that the team has very little leverage in the negotiations. Prescott is well taken care of this year, with a $54 million 2024 payout on the books. He does not have the urgency for a new deal of a player working on an undervalued contract, and he can rest assured that there will be a market for his services when free agency comes around. Giannitti and podcast partner Dan Soman rattled off a list of 8 potential 2025 off-season destinations for Prescott, including obvious candidates like the Raiders and Steelers, as well as eye-openers like the 49ers and Broncos. As Soman said, he's never had more leverage than he's ever going to have right now. Even if the Cowboys come to him and go, "Listen, here's a really competitive contract, we want you to be here for life," he's in position to just say, "Kiss off," at this point. Prescott has arranged the table nicely for an impending free agent bonanza, one that could capitalize on a skyrocketing salary cap and the corresponding skyrocketing salaries for QBs. He needs to make sure he cashes in. Vikings trade with Cowboys for low-level cornerbacks. The Minnesota Vikings traded Andrew Booth Jr. to the Dallas Cowboys for Nahshon Wright on Friday in a low-level swap of cornerbacks who might be at risk of getting cut by the end of training camp. Booth was a second-round pick by the Vikings out of Clemson in 2022 but had minimal impact over 2 seasons. He was limited to 6 games as a rookie by injuries but played all 17 games last season with a mix of snaps on defense and special teams. Booth didn't record an interception for Minnesota. Wright is the 5th defensive back the Vikings have added since the start of training camp as they try to address gaps in depth and experience. 8-year veteran Fabian Moreau joined Minnesota last week. Minnesota also was devastated last month by the death of rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson in a car crash. The Vikings also have signed safety Bobby McCain and cornerbacks Jacoby Francis and Duke Shelley since players reported to camp. Wright was a 3rd-round pick by Dallas out of Oregon State in 2021 and had 1 interception and 5 pass breakups in 32 games over 3 seasons. Wright never gained much of a foothold in the defensive rotation and was passed on the depth chart by Darren Bland. Bland was drafted in the 5th round a year after Wright and has 14 interceptions in 34 career games. Bland set an NFL single-season record in 2023 with 5 interception returns for touchdowns. What do you think? Was it a good trade for the Cowboys? Leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel.